5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. We'd like to thank Yellow Jacket for being a sponsor of this podcast. We truly appreciate them. Guys, I know you keep hearing about the Yellow Jacket P51 870, but guess what? You're going to hear about it again. Because if you haven't checked this thing out, something's wrong with you. You're going mental. You have to check this thing out. Guys, the Yellow Jacket P51 Titan Digital Manifold series provides ultimate system measurements with ease. The 4-valve manifold provides fast and accurate measurements for refrigeration and AC systems. Measurements are displayed on a backlit digital display and can be transmitted via Bluetooth to a smartphone for even further analysis. Local display of system pressures and temperatures, superheat and subcool, provide instant analysis. When connected to your smartphone, target superheat and subcool are easily attained, along with any other capabilities of the Mantooth app. The flagship Yellow Jacket P51 870 Titan features a 4.3 full-color touchscreen graphic digital display with graphic cool representation of pressure and temperature measurements. Think slick. It also features onboard data logging and standard vacuum sensor and measurements. The vacuum sensor is included. It also comes with a 4-pack of hoses, which is included, as well as 2 temperature clamps and a backpack carrying case for safe storage. Safe storage. If you guys haven't noticed, the backpack they give you is pretty much the field piece book bag, tool bag they were selling. You cannot beat this, guys. That's all I'm going to say. Go over to Yellow Jacket's website. Check out all their new products. If you guys did not know, this P51 870, the AHR Expo 2019 was a finalist for Innovation Awards. So that is awesome. So this thing is being recognized through all the big dogs in the industry. So we got to give a shout out to Yellow Jacket. So guys, remember, 70 years of expertise built into every tool.
Housecall Pro is the home services software for the pros. Whether you're in the office or in the field, Housecall Pro is going to make it easy for you to schedule a job, communicate with your customers, get booked online, send an estimate or an invoice, and take the payment. So what are we really talking about here, guys? We're talking about no more paper invoices. Get rid of them. Throw them in the trash. You don't need them anymore with Housecall Pro. It's going to automate all of your back office work, which could save you up to 15 hours a week. They estimate 500 hours saved per year. You can easily create and edit your schedule from your computer or your smartphone. You can keep your employees updated with notifications directly on their phone. They also have the online booking feature, which it just makes sure that you're available for fast online booking before your competitors are, because that's where that's where it's going, guys. People like to book stuff online. Housecall Pro has that feature, and it's great. The online booking gives your customers access to book a job at any time of the day, 24/7. They also have on my way text messages. So this helps you create lifelong customers with friendly professional updates, just letting them know that you're on your way. So I think I've said enough about Housecall Pro. You got to check out the demo. Go to www.housecallpro.com/HVAC-uncensored. You're going to get a $50 free fuel card just for going through the demo, checking out what this program has to offer. And it's got a lot to offer. It will really automate and streamline your business. Check it out, guys. Housecall Pro.
And last but not least, I say this every week, and a lot of you have listened, but some of you don't. This is more for all you new guys out there. And hey, it doesn't even have to be HVAC related. If you guys have, I don't know, you sell foot cream or asshole cream, I don't know, whatever. If you have some kind of side business and you want to make it official, you got to have a website. You got to be online. Okay. It's 2019. We're in the digital age. Everybody wants to do everything from their computer. So guys, if you're a small company, you got enough on your plate. Let your friends here at Uncensored, me and Kelley, take that thing off your plate. You ain't got to worry about it. Guys, hit up Webbit. They are the ones who take care of the podcast website. And some of you guys, and I was told this by our rep, but I wanted to make sure I passed this along. A lot of you guys, you hear Webbit, you don't know who Webbit is, but a lot of you have seen carsforsale.com. Okay, well, that is the sister company of Webbit. Obviously, carsforsale.com is the big company. So this isn't some like fly-by-night company. They're backed by bigger corporations, and they have been awesome for us. They do, like I said, they do the podcast website. It's been flawless. I mean, it really has. It's been easy. It's been simple. It's been really easy. It's just something me and Kelley are already running businesses day to day. We don't have time to be designing websites and stuff like that. So we passed it off to Tyler and he did it for us. If we want to make any changes, I give him a call, an email, whatever it is, sit there and BS for a couple of seconds, 24 to 48 hours, bam, it's done. Guys, as simple as can be, $49 a month. $49 a month. Yes, that's what I said that. You heard it right. That includes SEO, search engine optimization. You know, people are going to find you on Google when they look for you and they search for you. If you don't, try to search HVACuncensored.com. We're going to pop up to the top of the list. So guys, if you need a website, email us at hvacuncensored@gmail.com and I will forward you our representative Tyler's number. He has it on here. He said I can give this out. So it is going to be, you can call him at 605-306-5770. His name is Tyler, and you can tell him that your friends over at HVAC Uncensored sent you. That number again is 605-306-5770. All right, guys, on to the show.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the USA. Thank you to all of our listeners, coast to coast, globally. We appreciate each and every one of you guys.
If you're trying to take your HVAC game to the next level, then buckle your seatbelt, crank up the volume, and try not to be offended. Because you're listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast with Gil Cavey and Kelley McKay. Now, here's Gil and Kelley.
What's up, everybody? I was making you wait. We're here. Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. This is yours truly, Gil Cavey, back for episode 42. I cannot believe it's 42 episodes, but it's great to be here. It's great to be doing this. As always, I'm sitting across the internet from my buddy old pal, Kelley McKay. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. 42 is actually that was my jersey number when I played basketball in high school. That's a good number.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were 42 years old. I forgot you're older than that.
No, I am 42 years old too, but.
Oh, see, look at that.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a great episode. It's going to be great.
It is. See, it's just these numbers are just hitting it.
It's got to be better. Yeah, it's got to be better than what it was last week anyhow, because the mic's working right this week so far.
Yes, guys, and just so you know, we are taking proper steps to take care of that. We had obviously we had the issues with not being able to get some episodes out, and there were some technical difficulties. Me and Kelley sat here, 2 hours me and Kelley did before we recorded, trying to go through all kinds of stuff to figure it out, and we just couldn't do it. And we were like, well, we don't want to not put a podcast out, so fuck it. We'll just make it the best.
Yeah.
The good thing is you guys heard after I cleaned it up. If you'd have heard the real version, it was like, my name's Sound like the guy. Yeah, sound like the guy off of the that one Men in Black. Sugar. Who's got the sugar?
Yeah,
you know.
right.
Oh Jesus! But yeah, we're taking some steps. We're slowly upgrading things. A lot of things have been upgraded here. We're gonna upgrade some of Kelley's stuff. So get off our fucking back. We're taking care of it. All right. But no, what I was gonna say real fast is I kind of wanted to. One time when I introduce this, almost like it's a fight, like in the red corner, we have coming in the bald man from Maryland. He's got a beard. He thinks it's nice, but think twice. It's Mr. Gil Cavey. And then going, his competitor on the other side wearing the blue trunks. He's got a fresh polo on and his khakis are ironed. His hair is combed over and his glasses are on. Mr. Kelley McKay.
You forgot the the middle name, like Gil the Bomber Cavey.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Gil the Bomber. You're service ready, Freddy.
Yeah.
We gotta try it, and I could be. Well, let me see. I'm trying to.
Sweet nuts.
Sweet nuts. The bearded wonder.
It's a bearded wonder. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just trying to think of something you do that's not podcast related and trying to rhyme it with something, and that kind of just popped in my head. Anyway, we got a fucking show for you guys tonight. That's gonna be it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be a good topic, and it's something that's been tossed around in our group. I can't even count how many times. And like I said, me and Kelley are starting to get a lot of our topics from you guys in the group. You guys, we see you guys debating and talking about things, and why not talk about, current events? So tonight, the topic is going to be starting HVAC pay. We're going to go over how it is in our states. We're going to start to bring up what we made when we started out. And then just how it's evolved. Guys are starting out making a lot more money now than they did than we made. And also that this is a great time to be getting in this trade. And we'll go over some statistics and things like that. But I think it's going to be good and you guys are going to enjoy it. It's obviously something you guys have been talking about. So I guess we will talk. We will start with you, my friend. If a technician is coming to you, what is like your base pay? And I mean, I kind of know how you're going to answer it, but how are you basing what you're going to pay them? I guess let's take that back. Let's start off and say you have a guy coming to you. He's green. He's fresh out of, we'll make it even both ways. He's fresh out of trade school. He comes to you and says, Mr. Kelley, I want to get a job fixing refrigerators and such. How much money can you give me, sir?
So if he did go to trade school, then I would definitely consider, typically he's going to have his EPA license at that point, because they try to make sure that the students have that by the time they graduate. So if he's coming out of trade school, then I would probably consider, anywhere from, honestly, 15 to 16, probably. And that's just, I know that probably sounds really low to some of you guys, but in our area, I mean, that the household median income is $55,000. And I've got buddies, that live other places where it's $100,000. Well, the pay is going to be higher there, and the cost of living is probably a little bit higher there. But here, we're in Kansas, and Kansas sucks. So it's going to be somewhere in that vicinity. Now, once they get their license, depending on how good they are and how much they produce, then they can make anywhere from, and this is early in their career, a couple years. Obviously, they're going to get, if they're good enough to sell anything, like I have bonuses and spiffs for almost everything. So you got to take that into consideration also. And we also provide, a lot of benefits. So we do, 50% of the health insurance, and we have an IRA program that we match up to 3%, or we match 3%. They can put in whatever they want. So we have benefits like a lot like some of the bigger companies that are really expensive. So, obviously you'd get a vehicle, a tablet, a cell phone, if once he got to the point where he can run some calls on his own. So, but that's what we're looking at. I mean, if you come to me and you have no experience whatsoever and you don't know anything, or you came from something else, like you're doing, you did roofing or something like that, where you're mechanically inclined, you're used to hard work, I'm highly interested, but you're probably going to start at the bottom of the totem pole, which is going to be somewhere around 13. Once you get your EPA license, we will normally give somebody $1 for that. And then, they can make up to 16 or so without their journeyman's license. But once they get their journeyman's, they're automatically worth anywhere from $2 to $4 more per hour. So, and they'll get bonuses and stuff at that point as well. They're already earning a lot of bonuses by the time they get to there. So
it's funny, I'm not really that far off from you, man. I'm kind of at the same. If a guy goes to trade school and comes out and he hasn't this is his first job actually in the field, we're probably right on par, $15, $16 an hour. Pretty much all the same benefits you talk is pretty much the same as what we do. Roughly give or take. To be honest, at our point in our company, which it may be a good thing or a bad thing, somebody who doesn't have any HVAC experience, we probably wouldn't even hire them, to be honest. We would probably be the same, like maybe $13 an hour, but that to us, that would be maybe too much of a project, or that person would have to know somebody in the company. We're fine with taking on younger guys, but to us, younger guys is maybe like 5 years and down as experience, or a couple of years. Like we have a guy that came who he knew a little bit about a little bit. He was pretty decent with duct work. He had worked for a company as like an installer's assistant, or helper. So he was good with putting duct work together. He knew what everything was called. Yeah. But still needed to learn a lot. And we started him out at $18 an hour. To be honest, it is what it is, but I think we started him too high. Now, let me take that back. I think maybe 18 was okay, but the bump he got after that, I think was he got pushed a little too much too soon. And he was given a little too much. But one thing I can say here, and my owner has always been that way, that he is willing to pay people what they're worth. So maybe sometimes we'll start guys like that who really, they don't have anything to show you yet because they haven't done it, but you'll move up fast. If we see that you're a hard worker, you're a go-getter, because we're big on, sending people to classes and stuff like that. And if we see someone is getting better and gradually, then we will make sure that you are paid for that. There's some guys here that have moved up quick. It sucks that some of those guys had left. There was no loyalty. We trained them and got them going and kept bumping them up. And then, another Tom, Dick, and Harry offered them $1 more an hour and they left. But we have two good guys here now, younger guys, that they're doing great. And I won't say how much they make, but they're in the mid 20s and they do pretty good for themselves. And as they learn, they're going to keep getting their pay assessed and being like, hey, now you know this and you can do this for the company. We've assessed it and now you're worth this. We'll give you that. But I agree. I think anywhere, I would say maybe in like the $12 to $16 range, depending on, like you said, the EPA license, how much you know, if you went to trade school kind of deal. I think that's pretty much the going rate. I would say that that's pretty standard. I mean, like the guy we were talking about in the group who said he was starting out at 18, I would imagine he's got to know something. To me, 18, if you're just starting out, that's a little high to me.
Well, yeah, because you're really not producing revenue for the company at that point when you first starting out. You just got so much to learn, and until you start actually producing revenue for the company, it's not that you're not helping on the jobs, but if the foreman or the lead guy that you're riding with or who's running the job, if they weren't there, well, you'd probably just stand around with your thumb up your ass, because you just don't know shit. So it's like, it just takes time. And I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just reality. So until you can actually like go out and make a repair and replace some equipment by yourself or with a helper of your own, then you're not technically yes, you help get the job done. And we have to have that, so, but like we could find another helper to replace you, typically. So until you get to be where you're actually, and I don't mean that in a negative, mean way. I'm just saying that you don't know anything. And until you start to learn some stuff and you can actually expedite the job and make it go faster, then we see that. Like, we see that automatically. We shit, they're getting done a lot faster. That's because, George is doing a lot better job. He's learning. We automatically see that. So when we see that start to happen, we know your productivity is going up just because the simple fact that you've learned more. And when we see that increased productivity, then we know that, it could be time for a raise.
Yeah, and I agree. And also I was going to say it,
no, you're good.
I need to cut you off there, my friend. Is I think that's another reason why a lot of new guys go into, or you get put into the install side first, in my mind, because normally not just one guy is going to be installing something. You need another person. So it's a lot easier to, even if it's normally a 2-man crew and now this guy goes in, you got a 3-man crew. It's a lot easier to hide that $12, $13 an hour in that install than it is to have you riding around with a service technician who might make $30-something an hour, really doesn't need you with him. Now you're riding with him. Now the company's paying $50-something an hour because they have to pay you to ride around with this guy to try to learn. So that's why a lot of times I think in my mind, it's easier to put you in to the install side financially for a company. It makes sense. Not even just technically. Obviously, it's good for you to learn what's what, how it's put together, how it works, blah, blah, blah. So we're not talking about that part of it. Just from the business standpoint, it makes more sense to be able to hide it because you're kind of dead money. Almost kind of like office, like we talked about office personnel. They don't actually bring in any revenue, but they're a necessary part of the company that you need to run.
Exactly. And that's what I was that's a good analogy. That's what I was trying to explain. Like the company has to have your help to be able to finish jobs, but you're not technically directly bringing in money to the company, just like a dispatcher, they're not, and I say that, but you got to just understand where we're coming from.
Yeah, I think people, I think you've got your message across. People understand what you're saying.
Okay.
At that point, you're not really a necessity. You're more of a luxury. Like, it's cool that you're there, but if you weren't, okay, we'll get it done. Like that kind of deal. And that's how everybody starts out, guys. It's, knowledge is power. Knowledge is money. The more that you can do, the more that you bring into the company is how you create value for yourself. And we're not going to get into that whole trade school debate, but to any guys listening to this that are in trade school or just out of trade school, I know some of these schools will blow smoke up your ass. When you get out of school, you are not a technician. I hate to break it to you if you thought you were. Not saying that you can't have a bright future and you're going to school was a bad thing. It's just a small step on a really, really, really big ladder. So just know that. Don't come out of school and be mad because you're not getting a full-fledged technician job. And if you do, don't do it because you're setting yourself. It's a recipe for failure. You're going to get that job. You're not going to know what the hell you're doing. And it's not going to work right. Sometimes it's kind of like Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback. He sat behind Brett Favre for a little bit because he wasn't the real high draft pick. And look, he turned out to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You're not that number one round draft pick. You know what I mean? You got to kind of earn your lumps a little bit and work your way up the ladder. I don't know if that was a good analogy or not, but whatever. You guys get my drift.
Yeah, I think so. It is just the ladder. That's all. You come in as a newbie and you don't know, you don't even understand like how the company functions. So it's going to take a good, depending on how quick you learn, at least 3, 4, 6 weeks just to figure out how everything works within the company as far as the processes, the invoicing, how you're dispatched, the schedule, how you write invoices, all that stuff just takes time to learn. Timesheets, yeah.
Yeah. And
so yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I was like, and there's no specific timetable that's like standard because it's all about what you want out of it. It's like anything else. You get some guys that come in and, hey man, they're go-getters and they're learning, they're going home and learning stuff. They're doing stuff on their own time. And hey, that guy might be a journeyman technician in 5 years. You have another guy, it might be 5 years, who he comes to work every day. He does his job, but when he goes home, he doesn't give a shit about this. He does the bare minimum. He does what he's supposed to do, but he's not doing the extra. It might take that guy 10 years to be a decent service technician. So there's no like certain formula that is for everybody. It's all about what you want. And I won't go into detail because I've said it a million times, but my story is I left my father too soon. I thought I was fucking king ding-a-ling and I was far from it. Doing like commercial refrigeration, industrial stuff, and I was fucking shit up. Let me tell you. Calling my dad saying, "Hey dad, I got this." And my dad would help me for like the first couple of months. And then finally my dad called me. I called my dad for something. He was like, "Are you going to give me half your paycheck at the end of the week?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "I can't keep fixing this stuff over the phone for you. You're never going to learn." He was like, "I love you, son, but don't call me with your problems anymore." And I was like, "What the fuck, man?" I was like, "Dad." And he hung up. But that's the best thing that could have ever happened to me, though, because then I got sick of not knowing. I got sick of going there and scratching my head and being frustrated, scared to call my boss and tell him I don't know what's going on. And him being like, "Well, why am I paying you $20-something an hour?" And I put my fucking nose in the books, watching videos, etc., blah, blah, blah. And that's how I expanded my career. But you guys can do the same thing. I'm not saying that trying to toot my own horn. That's not why I said that. I'm just saying that I put myself through hell for the longest time because I tried to do too much too fast. And you don't want to do that. But
I went through hell. I worked for my father-in-law for 3.5 years and wound up quitting for one summer to go work in a grain elevator. I was loading like grain trucks and stuff with a forklift and fulfilling food orders for like our zoo, like a local zoo, and all the little feed stores in all the little towns everywhere. So anyhow, I decided that HVAC wasn't that bad. So I came back to work and went to work for a different company. And when I did that, the very first weekend, they threw me on call. And sure enough, that Friday night, I get a call from a movie theater. It's like, I don't know how many theaters they have, like 6 or 8, several units, several rooftop units on the roof. Make my way up there. I'm scratching my head. Like I have no idea what to do. Could not get a hold of the owner, could not get a hold of my service manager, and basically lost that account. They wound up recovering it later, and we wound up doing work for them again, but we lost that account for a little while because nobody would answer their damn phone and help me. But so, and I got to admit, the first 3.5 years working for my father-in-law, like he's a really smart dude, and but he's not good at like explaining things in a simple way that I could understand. I'm a simple guy, and so
simple Jack.
Yeah. So I just couldn't grasp a lot of the concepts and what my meter was telling me and stuff like that. But once I went to work on my own and was like in the field on my own, that was the best learning experience I ever got. So that is one thing that I see it all the time. Just what Gil said, you think you're ready. Like you come to work 6 months later, you think you're ready to conquer the world. You know shit. But then when you get out to your first call, you're stumped. But that's when the real learning starts, because then it's it's all on you to figure this problem out. And once you start figuring stuff out, shit starts to click in your head. And then it makes sense to you. And once it makes sense, then it gets easier and easier. Not that you won't come across some problems that will just knock you sideways. And that's what we have technical support for. I tell my guys that too. I don't have all the answers. If it's something that I can't answer, I'm pretty good over the phone. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty damn good over the phone. But if I can't answer it, then call your supply house. I think we've talked about this before, but that's what those guys are for. Like your field service reps that are in the supply house, that is their job, is to assist you in the field, whether it be over the phone or if you got to schedule a time for them to come out to look at something with you. That is their job. So do not be afraid to use them. Kind of getting off course here, but
no, you're good.
Yeah.
You're right though. And I mean, and to add on that real fast is, guys, we're not saying that when you start out in the process and the journey of becoming a tech that you can't make mistakes. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is you can make mistakes, but in the process, like I tell my guys, is don't make the same mistakes. Make a mistake, learn from it. Make a mistake, learn from it. Okay. Make new mistakes. That's okay, because that's just taking your lumps and learning. That happened to all of us. But when you get a guy that keeps making the same mistake over and over and over, that's when it gets frustrating for your owner, your manager, etc. Because if a guy keeps making the same mistake, there's some disconnect there where they're not learning. I mean, it's kind of like when you're young and don't touch that frying pan, it's hot. And you go, oh man, it burned me, I'm never doing that again. Well, if you're the dumbass fucking kid that comes back and goes, I'm going to touch it again, right. You're not processing something. There's an issue there. So even maybe once, twice, hell, we'll give you 3 times, but you should start to learn from that mistake and be able to start retaining that knowledge and move on. So we're not saying not to make mistakes. So that's not.
No,
no one's perfect.
You're definitely going to make mistakes, and you're going to get stuck and frustrated, and that's where when you go to a house and the guy's like, I used to do HVAC. It happens all the time. And well, the reason they're not still doing HVAC, I can bet you money, is that a lot of them, at least, is that they got into it. Then they get stuck and frustrated on a service call, and they're like, this shit's not for me, and they quit. That's why there's a lot of ex-service techs or ex-HVAC guys out there that have dabbled in it. So if you can get past that first frustration of just the learning process, all you got to do is just stick with it, and you'll get it, and it'll start to make sense. but a lot of guys don't make it past that. And I think that's why you hear that from customers all the time. I did HVAC for a couple years. Okay, well, why aren't you still doing HVAC? And if you know so goddamn much, why don't you fix it? Why didn't you call us in the first place? I mean, we're all up against that. But I believe that there's got to be some truth to what I'm saying, which is that it's not for everybody. It's, for one, it's unbelievably hard work, like physically hard work. It's not just the technical side of it. We got to be, you can't be just, you got to be able to learn stuff and be relatively smart to do this, because there's a lot involved. And then, especially with dealing with customers and, dealing with the dispatcher, and it can be difficult, but it's just one of those things that if you can make it past that first learning curve, then it gets better. It gets better. So, and then all of a sudden now you have your helper of your own. If the company's growing and they're adding people, then you have a helper of your own, and now it's time to train him. So it gets better, and you just got to stick with it. And a lot of people just can't make it through it, because it's, I said it in my book. My brother-in-law used to call it's NFP. It's not for pussies. And I truly believe that this business is NFP in all shapes and forms, whether you're a business owner, a manager, a lead guy, a leader within the team, if you're a service tech, all the way down to a parts runner. Like, it's NFP. It's not for pussies.
No, it's not. I mean, we have well, first of all, those customers you're talking about, those are the ones that took a free HVAC online course, and now they're HVAC technicians. Or, my brother-in-law helped me get an EPA license, which, guys, we all know that means do diddly shit. It means you can buy refrigerant. Any jackhole can go take that test. They don't really ask for any credentials. It doesn't mean anything, and it doesn't make you a technician. You have to have it, but that's about it. It doesn't make you a technician. You don't really need any technical ability. You can go to these supply houses and take an hour, little test course, where they give you all the fucking answers. And if you're not a complete moron, you remember, you can absorb the information enough for that hour to be able to take the test and pass it, to at least get, the core in part one. Most of my guys have gotten the universal just because they can remember it for that long. A couple more hours they might not have, but yeah, I mean, in this trade, you have the technical aspect of knowing all the different things that we work on. And let's just say residential for first. I mean, the refrigeration cycle, messing with air conditioning, heat pumps, gas furnace, hydronics, how to work on boilers. There's a lot to be able to be diversified, to work on different things. You got to be physically fit. You got to be able to work on the elements, because we're either freezing our balls off or sweating our ass off. So it's like Kelley said, it's not for pussies. It's the trades in general. You're going to work for your money. And as you put time in and you get up, that's when you start to reap more of the benefits, when you become like a senior tech and you're pretty much telling the younger guys what to do. The laborer is doing more of the work, and you're there for your mental capacity versus, your physical capacity. Or you're a manager, you start your own company, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's a good road to be in, but you just, you can't be trying to take shortcuts, because I think sometimes you try to take that shortcut and it loops and it takes you back, and you're back farther than where you started. So
it's definitely there's a possibility for it to be extremely lucrative for anybody with the right attitude and mindset and a good work ethic. I mean, you can make a lot of money in this business. There's a lot of guys in the group that will vouch for that. It's there, and the demand is there. So like you get good at this, you could go to work anywhere. Like if you had to uproot and move to, I'm in Kansas. If I had to move to Florida, dude, I'd have a job. I could make a phone call and have a job. It's such in demand that if you if you're good at what you do, and there's a little bit, I mean, like I like having that security, you know, because not all jobs are like that.
No, it's not. And if anything, like me and Kelley talked off air, our trade is growing. And I'm sorry that I can't remember where I saw the statistic, and I could be off a little bit, but I know I'm not off too much. But they say that the HVACR field is going to grow within the next 5 years between 35 to 45%. So you're going to need that many more people coming into this trade. And most people that I know that have actually, like, they're go-getters and they've, wanted to excel in this field, they do well for themselves. Yeah, you're going to have those guys that, like we talked about, they come, they do their job, they go home, and they probably still make good money, but nothing extravagant. Guys, you can make good money in this trade. I mean, I do pretty well for myself. Kelley does pretty well for himself. I mean, we're far from rich, but this trade has given us a lot. I mean, I have a wife with a brain condition, doesn't work, and I have 4 children, and we live okay. We're not wanting for anything. I mean, but it can definitely give you a good life. So that's where we ended up. But before we get too long, let's circle back. Kelley, your first HVAC job, how much did you make an hour?
That was way back in 1996.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 1919. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I'm not quite that old, but 1996. And I started out at $8 an hour. And I stayed at $8 an hour for about 2.5 years. And finally got the courage to ask for a raise, and I got $1. So I made $9 an hour for another year, and that's when I took a year off, or a season, one cooling season off, one summer, and I was like, decided, hey, it wasn't that bad doing HVAC, so I came back to work for another company, and I was making $10 an hour plus 10% commission on all invoices turned in. But this was back in, our average invoice back then was probably like $120 or something. I mean, it wasn't shit compared to what it costs nowadays, but it was still extra money each week for me. And that with that company, I came to work one morning after almost being there a year, and the owner was shutting the doors. So everybody came to work to find out they didn't have a job anymore. So I guess a job had went sideways. A commercial job had went terribly sideways about 3 years prior, if I remember right. And they just never recovered from it, and it finally took them down. So went to work for another company making $10 an hour. Got my journeyman's license. They wanted to give me $1.25. And I said, fuck you, and left. Because I knew, because, the other company that I worked for, even though they went out of business, I knew that when you got that journeyman's license, it was worth $3 to $4 an hour. So giving me $1.25 was not enough. So I left, went back to work for my father-in-law. I was completely miserable. And I went back to work for him, I want to say for 15, was there for about a year, and got offered to come back to the company I'd left for 16 with my insurance paid. And so, not completely paid, but $200 of it paid. And back then it wasn't nearly as expensive as it is today. So, came back and stayed there for several more years. And I had worked my way up to $20.20 an hour salary with the master's license. I stayed for another year and then started my own company. So I was working, for other companies for about 12 years before I started the company, and I made probably less money the first couple years working for myself. And definitely if you took into account what I wound up owing the IRS for not knowing how to run a business. So that's the success tax, you're going to pay it no matter what. If you don't, either you go to school and learn it, or you take a class and learn it, or you learn it on your own, and either way you pay for it.
Yeah, damn right. Yeah, well, it's funny, when I first started like in high school and different things, and I would go like summers to help my dad, I was probably making like $8 an hour, anywhere from like eight to 10. And then when I actually went to work for my dad, like full time, as like his helper, they gave me $10 an hour. And I remember I worked my way up to $13 an hour, and I thought I was like king shit. Because some of my friends were like working like bullshit jobs, making minimum wage, and I'm like, I make double digits, motherfucker. But after I left my dad, when I took the first job, when I went into doing for a refrigeration company, they gave me, I pretty much bullshitted my way on the fucking application, and they gave me like $18 an hour, and I did decent, and I ended up breaking the 20 mark there, $20 an hour. Ended up doing something stupid, left there, went to a big refrigeration company, and I was making like $23 an hour. And this is in my, mid 20s, early 20s. And I thought I was like king shit, man, because I didn't have a whole bunch of kids then. My oldest son was born or being created, one or the other. But yeah, I mean, that was good money for me, man. I was living high on the hog. I didn't have all the bills like I have today, and credit cards and, different things like that. Yeah, but it was great. And then I kind of got into like the mid 20 mark, and I kind of stayed there for quite a few years, because that was that stage where I said, like, I really didn't know. Like I had bullshitted my way as high as I could go. Now it was time to, shit or get off the pot. It was time to put up or shut up. And right around in that range, maybe a little bit before then, actually, is when I really started, like, I need to do this. I need to dig deep. If I'm either going to do this or I'm not going to do it, pretty much. And I actually left. It's funny you say that. I actually left HVAC for a little bit, only like maybe a month or two. And a friend of mine that I grew up with, playing sports with, and his dad was one of my coaches. He's a big wig for a bread company around here. And I went and delivered bread. And you got to be there at like 1 o'clock in the morning to fucking like load your truck. I was driving to fucking Virginia, dropping off bread, not getting home till like fucking 3 o'clock because I had the shittiest fucking route because I was the new guy. Like, would you get free bread? I'm like, who gives a fuck? It's bread.
Yeah.
And then I just started to realize, like, man, HVAC wasn't that bad.
That's funny because, man, on other jobs, I found myself like watching the clock and just hating life and couldn't wait till I got home. But doing HVAC, it's like I was racing the clock every day. Like every day we were trying to get jobs done, and the time just flew. And so that's what was so appealing to me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's like I said, man, the trade's been good to me, man. I know it's been good to Kelley, and I mean, I guess sometimes just to think back, and maybe I would wonder if I kind of took a different path, but then again, I wouldn't. I'm happy. I'm content where I am now. Is it where I ultimately want to be? No, but I wouldn't be where I am now if I wouldn't have had the path that I had. So it is what it is, man. Everybody's gonna have a different journey. Everybody's gonna get to a place a different way.
But boy, times have changed though, haven't they, Gil? I mean,
yes.
I mean, it took 12 years for me to make $20 an hour, and now, I mean, there's guys, maybe two to 3 years they're making that, actually making more.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So it's crazy. I know the cost of living has gone up tremendously, inflation, you know, but I don't know if it's gone up that much. I don't know. My wife would argue with me because she, you know, not that she wouldn't argue with me about what we pay, because I feel like we pay, you know, very well. And once they continue to prove themselves and their sales go up and stuff, like I have no problem giving people more money.
Yeah. As long as their brain, like we've talked about before, as long as they're bringing in enough to pay for themselves, I mean, and some, it's good. I mean, of course you have no problem being able to pay for that. It's just now, you know, with the whole, like, everybody wanting like $15 an hour to be the minimum wage and shit like that, which is just fucking crazy. I mean, that kind of stuff is what is going to put small business owners out of business. And they're like, oh, well,
what it'll do is it'll raise rates everywhere. Like it'll be, you know, just going to Taco Bell. You go to fucking Taco Bell, it's going to cost you fucking $7-8. It used to be like $3 to $4. Now it's $7 or $8. Well, you just wait until all those employees make $15 an hour. Like, I get it. I know that inflation has happened, and I know that you can't hardly survive off minimum wage, but you give them $15 an hour. What do you think your bill's going to be when you go to Taco Bell now? I mean, they're not going to lose their profit margin, and people are still going to go buy their food. So it will raise everything. And I just don't think it'd be a good outcome, me personally. That's probably a little political. I don't know if we should even talk about that, but
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, just my opinion on it real fast is I am totally against it, because I just feel like, yeah, you can't live off $15 an hour. Well, you're not supposed to, because fast food jobs are meant for like kids' first job or like elderly people getting jobs. It's McDonald's flipping burgers is not supposed to be a fucking career. So, and I might get some, you know, fall back on that. I'm sorry. I mean, that's my opinion, you know,
unless you apply yourself and you move up the ladder and you become a shift manager, and then eventually a store manager, and then a regional manager. Like, I mean, McDonald's has a career path and you can make hella money, but you got to apply yourself. So I agree with Gil. If you don't apply yourself, then you deserve minimum wage.
Exactly. If you go there and you're content flipping burgers, then you're content making $8 an hour. That's how the world goes. Nobody's going to give you anything. You know, for example, my neighbor, he started out when he went out of high school, he was working at different fast food restaurants and doing this, doing that. And he got in with Chick-fil-A, worked his way up, took out a loan. Now he owns 2 franchises. He owns 2 Chick-fil-A's. Guy's not hurting for dick. Trust me.
No. Good for him.
Exactly. And it's all about what you want. Plus, he always gives me those free Chick-fil-A cards where I can get a sandwich, or matter of fact, I got one in my pocket.
And I'll tell you what, you know, when people see him, and he might be driving his fancy car and living in his nice home, and they're going to say, oh, look at him, he's fucking lucky. I promise you, he's not fucking lucky. He worked his ass off for what he has.
Yeah, damn right, man.
And he deserves it, you know? You deserve it. Otherwise, what's the point of working hard? I mean, that's the whole point, is to better yourself.
Yeah, it's what you make of it. It's, you know, and I get it. I mean, I did it. I did the whole fast food thing for a little bit when I was younger. It wasn't one of the big chains. It was more of like a local thing. But yeah, I get it. But I knew in my mind that was a stepping stone. I wasn't going to, I'm like, man, I want to do this the rest of my life. I mean,
I actually, talking about Taco Bell, I worked at Taco Bell for a couple years through high school. Fucking hated it. That's when I learned people are assholes.
Find out that their meat is 70% soybean.
No.
Gives me the fucking runs. Mississippi mud butt.
Didn't learn that. I worked the drive-thru, and you learn real quick, man. People can be just assholes, you know. And you get people that, you know, maybe their burrito wasn't right, and they come back stomping in the store and they smash their burrito on the counter and want to talk to a manager. And I don't know. I don't even know why I'm talking about that. I learned a lot about people, at least in that position. The Taco Bell that I worked at the time was was the busiest store in Wichita. And Wichita's not huge, but 300 back then, probably 330,000 people. And it was the biggest store. So, dude, that drive-through beeper, once it started in the morning, it never shut off all day long. Drive you fucking insane. But so just literally hundreds and hundreds of customers every single shift. And yeah, some of them are nice, but a lot of times they weren't. So it was a good experience.
Yeah. Get your first taste of customer service.
Yeah,
what you're gonna
exactly.
deal with.
Exactly.
But all right, now that we totally fucking derailed this podcast at the end and went political and minimum wage and all that stuff for you, let's go ahead and close this out, my friend.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. I'm telling you, deep within my heart, like, we wouldn't do this if we didn't have your support. It just means a lot to us. It's the whole reason we keep going. It's kind of a pain in the ass to hook up and get it going, but we enjoy it when we do it. But if it wasn't for you subscribing, joining the Facebook group, your comments, the love that we get from you guys, like, one little post is all it takes on Facebook, and it just makes it all worth it. So just thank you. I mean, really thank you from the bottom of our hearts, because I know Gil feels the same way. So, but be sure to share this with your friends, family, coworkers, and hope you're killing it right now. And this summer is coming. It's pretty much here. Hope you're killing it. Be sure to go make money.
Yeah, guys, I definitely feel the same way as Kelley. Love you guys. I appreciate you guys. We would be nothing without you. I know we've things haven't moved according to plan for us, as far as some hiccups with my health and some other things, business and stuff like that. I appreciate all the loyal guys out there that have been holding true, and I really appreciate a lot of guys giving me their honest feedback and giving me constructive criticism, because I respect their opinion, and it's helping this grow. So, like I said, I appreciate you guys dealing with some of the audio issues we had in the beginning when I was like destroying the fucking editing, and it was like blah, 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 to the mix up we had last week. And, me and Kelley don't take that kind of stuff lightly. We don't want that any more than you want to hear it, and we're going to get that kind of stuff taken care of. We're constantly investing in the podcast, investing in us, to be able to put on the best show for you guys that we can put on. And I know that we've been trying to get the YouTube thing going. I've had a lot of guys hit me up and ask me questions about it, and that is going to come in. Me and Kelley are going to get back to the live streams, putting videos and content out, the hangouts and all that stuff. I would say, give us a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks. I might do a random hangout here soon, just to get out and see you guys. But we're going to get back to like a routine schedule and all that kind of stuff here really, really soon, giveaways, and all that kind of stuff. It's going to get back going. Please just bear with us. I appreciate you guys for bearing with us as long as you have. So with that being said, guys, you know where to find us. We're on all the major podcast apps. If you happen to look on an app and we're not there, reach out to us, HVAC Uncensored at gmail.com, and let me know, and I'll make sure we're there. Pretty soon, we're just going to refer everything to our website, which is HVACuncensored.com. You can email us from there. The link for House Call Pro is going to be there. You can get to our YouTube channel from there. So we're going to funnel everything to our website, and anything you need to know about us, anything related to anything that we do, sponsors, all that stuff, everything's going to be there. And that should be done here shortly as well. Whew, man, I smoked too much, but all right, guys, remember, be safe out there, man. Always make it home the same way you left. Summer's coming. Make sure you're staying hydrated. You're drinking water for the next day, not for the time you need it. All right. Be out there. Be smart. Like I said, be hydrated. If you get up in the attic and you start feeling dizzy, come down. Don't try to be Mr. Tough Guy. Be smart. All right. And guys, set yourself apart. Always be doing what the next guy's not doing. Okay? We just talked about how we're in a trade that more guys are coming in, and there's somebody, if you're not doing what the next guy's willing to do, then he's going to take your fucking spot. Okay? Don't let him take your spot. We want you guys to be fucking rock stars out there killing it. And if we can help you in any way, that's what we're going to do. All right? So guys, enough of my running my mouth. Until next week, I love you motherfuckers, and I will talk at you later. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.